Hello. I'm so sorry. We have been on a mission making outfits and installing eyes, but today we are going to be on an even bigger mission, a longer mission, something that's going to take years off my life, and that is making hair. So today we're going to get started into making a wig, and I'm going to take you through my personal wig making process and how you can copy me on the cheap. It's time to sit back, relax, book a week off work, and let's start making this wig together. Okay, so a couple of things to note here before we begin. Her nostrils have been removed. Originally, I thought the lopsidedness of the nostrils was really endearing, but actually the more I've looked at it, the more it's annoyed me. So I've taken them off, but don't worry, I do miss them, so I am going to redo them. I'm just going to redo them a little bit neater so they're more similar in size. And the other thing I would like to say is my disclaimer. I use a mixture of incredibly professional and very, very, very unprofessional methods when making my puppets. If you see something here that works for you, that's amazing. And if nothing works for you, I'm so sorry. You do you, my love. I'm just here to show you what I'm doing. So with that said, I really like to use wool and fluff and things of that nature instead of hair. You can totally just get a little wig and plop it on, but I much prefer using wool. So that's what I'm going to be using today. In terms of things you're going to need, number one is wool or string or something that you would like to use to make the hair of your puppet. I would recommend going to charity shops and thrifting wool and things like that, but for the purposes of time, for filming this today, I had to take a trip to Hobbycraft and pick out one of their many options. I don't know how much this is going to take because in the concept art my hair is quite long, so I'm just going to do it and get these and write it off on my taxes. So there wasn't a huge amount to choose from in Hobbycraft, and also the things that I did like the look of, there wasn't many of them, so I bought all of them. I've got 5 of these, and these are the thicker bits of wool, and you can see how it's a lovely sort of locky type texture, which is really nice and thick. And then to sort of marry it out and give a little bit of volume underneath so we didn't have to use this all the time, I've got this, so it's kind of like the same colour as this but a bit thinner. I've got my wool that I need here, which I put off to the side, but the other thing you're going to need is a sock you don't care about. And I say don't care about because preferably you'd pick a sock that you already have so that this is free. If not, venture out and buy just a cheap little sock that sort of fits roughly the colour that you're going to go for, so that if the hair's lifted up at any point, you don't get a visible wig cap. It will all blend in together. So I've got here this sort of burgundy, winey, purpley pink sock, which I'm going to use as my wig cap. I'm going to begin by cutting around here. So I'm going to use the round end of the sock to sort of become the wig cap a little bit. Start by cutting our sock here just about that length, giving it a little bit of room just before the ankle line really, and just snipping that away. And then we've got this bit which is useless to us now but might be handy for us later when we do the neck hole, so keep hold of that if you can. And now I've got this here and it's a little bit skinny, so all I'm going to do now is just do a little strip like this, literally just a little cut in it, just so that it can stretch across the back of the head how we want. So I've got Betsy here and I've spun her around so we've got the back of her little wrinkly head. I should also stress that Dr. Cecil is decapitated because I borrowed his stand for this, so I've got a bit of height, so that's why he's separate right now. But I've got the back of her head here and I'm literally at the bit that I've cut, I'm going to sort of place that at the bottom, and then much just like a hat, I'm going to pull it over her head. I want it sitting behind each ear. As I bring it down, I'm just going to pin it into place like this. It might need a fair bit of support, so just keep going around the edge and then bringing that down to match the line where you want the hairline to end. So I want it to sort of end at this seam line here. So I'm just going to bring down that sock, and have a look as well at the front when you do this that you've got the hairline at the front kind of where you want it as well, because then that can give you a bit more to work with at the back when you're going around. I don't know if you can pick up on it, but recently I feel like my Norfolk accent keeps coming out, and there are little phrases and things I say where I can just really hear the farmer in me. We're looking around and we're pinning it away. I just think I sound really Norfolk-y, just occasionally. It's always been an accent that I've struggled with because in the media they sort of portray it as West Country accent, so you don't really get a portrayal of it. Even though you're around it so much, it's a really difficult accent to pick up on. But I've recently found for some reason in my late 20s that it's just popping out again, and I've never heard it before, but even then that sounded really Norfolk, didn't it? If you've never heard a Norfolk accent, it is kind of like a West Country accent, but it is thicker. So we go, instead of like curling around the words like that with the West Country accent, you sort of bring them out, bring them proper. They go over, it's like an elongated noise instead of like a curvature that the West Country give you. It's a hard accent to replicate, and if I think about it, I can't do it, but if I don't think about it, I'm great at it. I haven't sewn it yet, we will eventually, but not for a while. For the little extra socky bit, I've literally just pinned that around as well, and then as we attach the hair, we're gonna just treat it as a flat surface. So I'm gonna push the hair through all of those bits there. So that's the base of what we've got so far. And what I'm gonna do first is, like I said earlier, and I'm gonna attach the thinner parts of hair underneath and then put the thicker bits of hair over the top so that this bulks it out nice and cheap, but you're not using any of the good wool to bulk it out. So it's just gonna give a nice little bit of volume. I'm gonna now work on how I'm gonna attach it. And to do that, I've got these. These are, I wanna say darning needles. I think they're darning needles. Basically, they're big fat needles that people use when they're knitting to sort of round off their knits. So they're just like sewing needles, but they're really quite large and a lot bigger than normal sewing needles, and also a bit blunter, so they're a little bit safer. But this is what I use, and it fits the wool through really nicely. When we get to the top, we've kind of got to think about partings. If you feel your own head, you've kind of got like a part, I don't know if I have, I can't see it, my hair's so messy, but you've got like a parting in the middle somewhere, but as you go down, it's kind of like all encompassing, and there isn't really a part line. So all I'm going to do here is replicate that and go along the bottom here until I reach a certain point where we have to begin worrying about the parting. This is a really time consuming craft, this one, but don't panic, relax, this will take days. This will take days for you to do if you're anything like me. So we're here, it's about 8 in the evening, and it will get later and later because I want to clarify that this is gonna take time. It's potentially gonna take days off your life. I've been doing it all day, and you can see how far I've gotten. This is layer 1 here on the wig, and I haven't even made it to the end. I've nicked Dr. Cecil's stand just to get a little bit of height because he's a bit taller than she is at the moment. So I'm using 2 types of wool. I'm using this thinner one here that I'm going to put underneath the hair to give it some volume, and then I've got these thicker lock sort of bits of wool that I'm going to put on the top for the texture. So I've got this one and this one. So I'm starting with the thinner one, and I'm literally measuring that length that I've got and looping it out and doubling up that length. So I've got 2 strands, the length that we need, and then I'm turning around again and I'm going back down that length and going a bit beyond it. So I've got 3 bits of wool connected together in a loop at the bottom, and then I'm just going to go a little bit beyond that and I'm going to cut it. This is kind of like the only method I've thought of how to connect this. I'm sure there are better ways, but I'm just going to tie a knot at the top so that the loop we've made and that loose strand are connected together. So we've got this one bit here, and then we've got the rest of it going down. And once we've connected it, you can cut this loop out. It's like 3 strands of hair that are separate, but it's just a way to get more strands of hair in one area. And then I've got my darning needle here, and I'm just gonna put my string through it like this, and then here on the sock that we've cut, I'm just gonna kind of line up next to where I've already been and really easily pierce that through and bring through that bit of string on its own, just like that. And then where I've done this before on another strand, I can now connect these bits of string together literally just by tying a knot twice, just for safety. And that is how I put my strands in. And you can see now how we've got that strand in place. And then under here, we've got all of these little connective strands that I just showed you, and I can put them underneath her wig cap so you're not going to be able to see it. But we've got that lovely length here. And then what we've got is above those smaller strands, I've then done bigger thickness wool on top. So you've got 1 layer of thin, 1 layer of fat, and it all goes down really nicely in a nice long length. And I'm just going to keep going until we get to the top where we can start to work on her parting, which definitely won't be in my version of today. But I just want to reiterate that this might be an all-nighter, this might be an all-weeker, an all-monther sometimes for me. It's just about taking your time and making that wig how you want. It's totally fine if you are a fan, but I personally have never been a fan of puppets with real hair. To me, it's similar as to why I choose felt balls for the eyes. I much prefer the look of a wool. So that's why I've used the wool today. And it's also easier to style, and I just think it looks more stylized on them. The reason I do multiple strands at once is so that you get multiple strands at once and you don't literally have to put every single strand in on its own. You've kind of done a little hack and you've done 3 in 1. I'm going to try and keep kind of at the same line as I go along. I'm just going to bring it through the wig cap and out like this. And now that I've got 2 strands, we can connect them together this way. So just here, 2 strands from each bit that we put in, and all I'm going to do is literally tie them together a couple of times just to give it that sturdity, and eventually we will glue it all in place. But for now, whilst we need to lift this up and work around it, I'm literally just like that, tied them both together, and now just like that they're all secure. So you've got 6 lovely strands of hair, and we're going to rinse and repeat this method all the way around. Relax, take your time, and we'll see how far we can get today together. So the time is 20 past 11 on day 1, and given everything that you've seen and everything that we've been through together, and me now in my pajamas before you, this is how much I've got done today. So I've got done 3 layers, well, 2 and a bit basically. So under here you've got the thinner wool that I used as the first layer, and then on top of it I've just finished a second layer here of the thicker wool that I actually want to texture with, and I've played about a little bit with the actual texture I'd like to choose. I've actually unraveled them, and you can see how they're a bit lighter and softer, and they've got like a lovely little curly wave. And I don't know yet if I want to do that for all of it, some of it, give it a little bit of texture. I've got to remind myself that she is going to be wearing a hat, and usually when I have puppets that wear hats, you don't have to wig the whole thing. Patchy's not wigged the whole thing. Puppet Jasmine that I made for my friend Jasmine, her hairline stops here like a monk, so we don't have to do the whole thing, but I'm going to do the whole thing to show you how it's done. Let's see how much we can get done on day 2. Hello, good morning. It is now day 2, and this is how far I got last night. I've got what you might call the undercarriage here, where we've got that thin layer that we've put on first, and then above it I've put the thicker layers on, and as I go up I'm now, I think, kind of exclusively going to be using those thicker bits of wool. For now I'm going to continue on this line here so that we can start to build up onto the head, and eventually we'll have a case here where we can start to create a parting system. But this is totally a good time as well, if you are planning on making a wig of your own, to think about those textures and colours and what's going to look good and what vibe you want to bring to the function. I'm literally just going to keep going along all that line there, and we'll see how far we get today. The time is 36 minutes past 5, and here is how far I've got. I've repeated that process that we spoke about, and I think, goodness knows, I think I've done about 4 layers, and I've literally just gone around the edges. You can see how much hair she has, and then all this stuff here are the off-cut bits that we use to poke it through the cap. And eventually, when we come to gluing the cap on, I'm literally just going to snip those short and tuck them in. And I've started here, and you can see that the time has come to sort of try and make a parting, kind of picking about halfway down the wig cap, and I'm just doing these shorter bits here, and the idea is eventually that I'm just going to curl it around the edge like this when it's all big and magnified. But I've got this half here that's a bit shorter, and then I'm going to do something on the other side that's a bit shorter. So we've got like a fringe section that we can shape and cut, and then we've got the actual length of the hair. Hopefully by this evening we should see some progress. So the time is 8:30, and I don't think that's too bad, all things considered. I think it's all been a blur, to be honest. This might have taken me 2 to 3 business days, I'm not sure, but I've only got one more piece to go. I basically did long rows, and then there comes a point where I stopped, and I started to just go half of the head, so we can sort of mimic a parting type thing. It's important to factor in that she hasn't been styled or shaped. I haven't done anything to the texture yet really, and I haven't done anything to the cut, but what I have done is, as I've done these fringy bits that are halfway across the head, I've made them sort of halfway long, because I'm going to style them and make them sort of a sway fringe situation. It doesn't really need to be the length of the actual main frame of the hair, so that's why you've got 2 sections here, because this is all going to be styled and secured, if that makes any sense. Also, you'll notice that due to our method of looping and looping so that we get multiple strands in one strand, there's loads of loops here. When you come to style it, literally just snip those apart. I'll show you. Snip those apart like that, and then you've got 4 strands of hair, and it's literally that simple. It's a bit annoying, but just go around anywhere you see a loop, just like that, and undo it so that you've got long bits of hair. I've only got one bit left to do, so let's do that together. I've got a line here, and all I'm going to do is connect that to my ginormous needle, and then here you can see this is the only gap we've got left. Wiggle my needle through the cap and bring that bit of string out just like that, and then I see another small bit close by, and I'm literally just going to tie them together. And there we go, that's the last little gap covered up. We did borrow Dr. Cecil's stand for this so that the hair didn't get ruined, and he has to go back on it now at some point, so I just put her hair up on a whim. I did that in one. Tell me why I shouldn't be a hairstylist right now. I'm not being funny. I think I should change my whole concept art to give her a bun, because that actually looks pretty sick. I'm sorry to pause proceedings. Back to main programming. I just thought this was really cool. To say again, she is just a base right now. She has not been styled or anything, but the important thing is we've got the baseline here, we've got the wig set ready to be shaped and secured. So I hope you enjoyed this little explanation. It wasn't little for me. I hope you enjoyed this little explanation and you're ready to take your holiday from work to get this done. I'll see you next time when we fit it to her head and make it look a bit more refined, and maybe even give her a little hat. If you did enjoy what you see today and you find it relaxing at all, feel free to subscribe and ring that bell so you can be told when I next do this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.